I have had an MG4 EV in what I would describe as an easy to find in a car park blue for about a year now. We've done around 12,000 miles in it, and I think that now is a good point to give you an owner's review because we've got to know its quirks and we know what it's like to live with every day. So there's a lot to talk about with this car because it is as mad as a box of frogs, so let's get on with it. We moved to this car from an electric Vauxhall Corsa, which if you haven't seen all of those videos, I suggest you go and have a watch. We loved the Corsa until it started throwing up errors and caused us a lot of hassle, so we ditched it for this one. This is the basic spec MG4 SE and it has a 49 kilowatt-hour battery which has an estimated range of 218 miles. Compared to the Corsa, the Guessometer has been a lot more reliable. I don't think we have ever managed 200 plus miles out of the car on a single charge, but we've easily got over 160 miles on motorway journeys. But the important thing is that if it says you have 100 miles of range left, it really means it, and having a range estimate that's not totally fictional really helps you to trust the car and make long journeys far less stressful. So genuinely this is a great car to drive. We don't do many long trips in it. It's mostly just going to the shops or commuting or little local trips, that sort of thing. But I have done a few longer journeys. So I've done a trip, so I'm in South Wales, I've been to Birmingham in it. I've been to Farnborough for the Everything Electric show, and I've been up to Nottingham. In fact, those last two, Nottingham and Everything Electric, there's a couple of videos up on the channel if you want to see how I got on. The trip to Nottingham was probably the longest trip I've done, and to be honest, this car fills me with confidence for the electric future really. It was no hassle whatsoever. See, I'm going round a roundabout now. It's really smooth. I mean, it's just lovely. It was on that drive to Nottingham that I started playing with the adaptive cruise control, or what do they call it, MG Pilot. I just pressed this steering wheel button here and set my speed, so 50 miles an hour along here. I could take my foot off the accelerator and it should just sort of cruise along at the speed limit. Now, it doesn't change lanes for you. You have to pay extra for that, and it just basically brakes or maintains the speed. So just adaptive cruise control, but I've never had that on a car before and I thought that was pretty good. We've rapid charged a number of times too and had no failures on public chargers either, which is brilliant. With the Corsa, it was 50-50 whether a public charger would work with it, but the MG4 has worked every single time. As for reliability, we've had no real trouble with it so far. There was a strange creaking noise coming from the brake pedal which I discovered a couple of months after owning it. But that was all fixed under warranty, so I've no complaints there. Overall, both me and my wife are very happy with this car, to the point that we argue over who is going to drive it, as in we both want to drive it. I thought that the Corsa was a nippy little car with 134 horsepower, but they've gone and put 168 horsepower in the MG4. The designers of this car clearly had a conversation at some point that went something like, you know this new entry-level budget family car we're designing? Shall we put a gentle and sensible powered electric motor in it? No, I want the passengers to leave their bladders at the traffic lights when the driver puts their foot down. And that's just one crazy decision that's been made in designing this car, because as much as it's a great car, it's totally bonkers. Which brings me on to the lane keeping assistant, or murder mode as I like to call it. It does keep you on your toes because at least once every journey it will either beep or tug the steering wheel or both for no apparent reason, and it will scare the crap out of you. It especially likes cyclists and on many occasions has made some decent attempts at trying to get you to drive into them. I think that's probably the same for lane keeping assistant on most cars now, but at least on the old Corsa we could quickly turn it off with a physical button and it would stay off, but turning it off on the MG4 means navigating the touchscreen to find the option, and it only stays off until you next start the car. And talking of software bugs, there are a few quirks. There's no sat-nav built into the basic model, which is fine. I wouldn't use built-in sat-nav anyway, but it does mean I have to rely on CarPlay. Now, it can take several attempts to get CarPlay to connect. You plug your phone in, it all opens up, and then it disconnects again, and you have to unplug and replug your phone to get it working. It's a bit frustrating when all you want to do is just drive off. And then there's the little star buttons on the steering wheel which are customizable. You can set them to change the driving mode to eco or sport, or change the regen strength, but the problem is the car doesn't remember what you set it to the next time you get in the car. So these buttons are basically totally useless most of the time, and they just don't do anything. But it's not all bad. The seats are really comfy for one thing, and the glove box is a pretty decent size for a modern car too. In fact, there are generally loads of little storage spaces all over the place, like a handy little compartment in the roof for your sunglasses, a sliding drawer in the centre, a space in the armrest, and a little cubby hole in the back underneath the rear USB power socket. And as for luggage space, you could use this car to take a family of 4 on holiday. It would be a bit of a squeeze, but I managed to get all 4 of our large suitcases into the car while still leaving room for 4 people. Okay, so it would be a bit tight. I put 2 suitcases in the boot, dropped one of the rear seats, put a 3rd suitcase on that drop seat, and the 4th in the footwell behind the driver. The rear passengers wouldn't have much room, especially whoever drew the short straw for the middle seat, but it is possible to do. But it's obviously a lot more fun to talk about what's annoying with the car though, so let's talk about the air conditioning, because this is probably the single most crazy part of the whole car design. In most cars you might pick a comfortable temperature of say 20 degrees and leave it on auto. But no, not in this car. If you set the AC to 20 degrees in winter, then what that actually does is make it colder than in the Arctic Circle. You have to set it to 23 or 24 degrees in winter for it to actually stay warm. But then in the summer, the car's brain suddenly says, oh, you have it set to 23 degrees. That means you want it to be hotter than the surface of the sun. I thought it might have just been a faulty sensor or something, but from reading various forums about the car, it seems it's just what the car is like. It's annoying, but it's not a huge issue given how cheap this car actually is. You can forgive a lot of issues when cars are this cheap. I'll even forgive it for not showing the external temperature on any of the screens. I know it has a sensor because you can see the temperature in the app, but it just doesn't tell you in the car. The car is due to go in for its first year's service shortly, whatever that entails, so by the time you see this video that should already have happened. If there are any issues flagged up then I'll put some notes down in the description, or I'll pin a comment or something. I've still got 3 years left on the lease for this, and there's still 6 years left of the warranty, so I'm sure there will be more updates on this car in future videos. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel for free so as you don't miss those, and don't forget to give this video a like. A massive thank you to my channel members and patrons listed here for supporting the channel. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member or a patron, then check out the links down in the description. In return, you'll get early access to my videos and some bonus content too. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.